Who wants to fly nowadays? It's hard enough with social distancing and masking, shorthanded staffing, a rash of flight cancellations. But now there's been a surge in inebriated, unruly fellow travelers to the point where the FAA feels obliged to take action. This week, one such incident made national news when a Frontier Airlines passenger flying from Philadelphia to Miami ordered 2 drinks, spilled a third on himself, emerged from the bathroom shirtless, groped the breasts of 2 flight attendants, and then started throwing punches. Finally, the only way he could be subdued was a flight attendant literally duct taping him to his seat. While reports of unruly passengers usually number between 100 and 150 annually, there have already been more than 3,700 cases reported to the FAA so far this year. This week, FAA Administrator Steve Dixon sent a letter to airport managers across the country to monitor the serving of alcohol in the facility's bars and restaurants, asking for the end of to-go cups. Joining me now to discuss is Sara Nelson, the International President of the Association of Flight Attendants. Sara, nice to see you again. What are you hearing from your members?
That we have to do everything possible to tamp this down, make this stop. This is something we've never seen before. And if it continues on this trend, we're going to see more incidents of unruly passengers in this year alone than we've seen in the entire history of aviation. So our members said that 85% of them in the past 6 months have experienced this, and 1 in 5 have experienced a physical event. And what's causing it is this different set of communications and conflicting communications throughout the entire pandemic. People don't know what to believe. Public trust has been eroded. Everyone's a little stressed out. Our planes are full, and there's operational issues as well. Members are telling us that people are mad about that. Alcohol is a major contributor, and we encourage the FAA to send that letter and also to ask law enforcement to better coordinate, better respond, and make sure that we're prosecuting in these cases. And so all of these things need to be tamped down. And frankly, having me on and talking about this is very helpful to help the traveling public understand what the rules are, why they're in place, and what the consequences are if you violate them. And I'll tell you, Michael, one other thing. This is a very small group of people relatively on our planes who are causing these problems. Most people just want to have a safe, uneventful flight. But we need those helpers to speak up, be on the lookout, be kind, and call out these people and help respond to flight attendants when we're asking for help to try to subdue someone.
To what extent have you heard anecdotally from your membership masks being a flashpoint?
Masks are absolutely a flashpoint. They've been made a political issue, and people have been led to believe that we are in total divide in this country over political issues. People have been given misinformation about masks. Masks are the single most helpful way to stop the spread of COVID. And in transportation, we're inches away from each other, if that. And so those masks are critically important in transportation to make sure that we're not spreading the virus anywhere else and transmitting this on our planes. So our compliance on that is a federal regulation. Flight attendants are doing their jobs, but it's absolutely a flashpoint for people and often is contributing to these incidents.
Sara, in your introduction, I made reference to the FAA missive that was sent talking about booze that gets carried onto the aircraft, and you've just told us that you were partly responsible for encouraging them to do so. What about alcohol served on the airplanes themselves? Are you concerned about that too?
Well, alcohol is a major contributor here. Over 60% of the events, alcohol is a contributor to that event. And we don't need anything else contributing to this when this is essentially an epidemic on our planes. So we've been talking with FAA Administrator Steve Dixon. I was just talking with him this morning, actually. And we've been talking regularly about what we can do together to better coordinate throughout the aviation community. That's airports, airlines, law enforcement, everyone in that total process with staffing and everything else. And alcohol is a major issue. People are bringing those bottles of their own on board. They're bringing the to-go cups. We've got to stop the to-go cup plan. And people have to understand that if you come to the door of the airplane and you appear to be inebriated, you can be denied boarding. In fact, we are required to do that. So there's going to be consequences. But if you get on that plane and you act out and that alcohol makes you do things that you might not otherwise if you're in your right mind, by the way, it's in pressurized cabins, so it's having a greater effect on you, then you're going to be facing federal charges. You're going to be facing huge fines. You may end up in jail.
Okay, quick final question. Does United have the right answer? Are mandates the way of the future? Mandates for crew, mandates for all passengers?
Look, we have done everything we can to try to encourage people to get vaccinated. We have negotiated incentives, an additional 3 days of vacation next year. We have tried to get the clinics at the airport so everyone has access. We've asked the WTO to stop with the block on getting these vaccines distributed around the world so we can end this pandemic. Enough is enough. We got to make sure everyone is getting this vaccine with the very few exceptions that are allowed. Otherwise, this pandemic is going to continue to wreak havoc on all of our lives, economically and the very health of our nation and our world.
Okay, and a final word from me. I've flown several times, thank God, without incident in the last month. I don't want to frighten people off. I want people back on planes, but for God's sakes, those few knuckleheads need to get reined in. Thank you, Sara.
Thank you, Michael. Take care.